Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. I got this replay from Jeb2 from Clan Lazy D. That's what I'm going to call it. He's in his T25/2. Now this is a US TD, but it's the turreted TD line. I think people have trouble with this because of the TD part. I think the turreted American TDs were more TDs in terms of doctrine than actual design. I mean, it's essentially a tank with a turret. In terms of World of Tanks, though, who cares what the real world stuff was? How do you play this in World of Tanks? Well, you play it like a medium-heavy TD. And so it becomes kind of this jack of all trades. It's good at a little bit of everything, but not great at any one thing. It's not like it's carrying around a huge alpha gun or that it has a massive amount of DPM or that it's fast or that it's heavily armored. It really is mediocre in nearly every respect. It's kind of a mediocre, slow, fat, heavy. It's kind of a weak in terms of hit points. Sorry, a kind of a fat, relatively slow medium. It is kind of a relatively lightly armored, low hit point heavy at times, and it can kind of TD at times. So none of that is really great in terms of this game right now and how to play, although it does have some things that are very important for a good tank. I'm not saying it's necessarily good. It's right in the middle to slightly below average if you look at its recent performance on tomato.gg. It's got some good gun depression. It has a turret, and it has decent mobility and accuracy. Bad hit point pool. It's not as fast as you might like it, and there's not a whole bunch of armor. So that means you've got to play it to its strength. Actually, Jeb does a pretty nice job right here. He sent me a note and said, I don't know how to play this. Well, he has a really good game. Not spectacular, but definitely a solid, good game. We are here on Himmel's Ruhenbergdorf, and he's going to go out into the field. Now, that's a interesting thing. We are middle tier. We're a tier 7 and a tier 8, 7, and 6 battle. So I don't think you really want to rush forward and be in the front with this thing. But it could do that. Say it was top tier. You could play it more like a heavy top tier, especially if you're talking about a tier 7 taking on 6s and 5s. But we're a middle tier. We got a Lorva and a Type 59 and a Black Prince and a KB30 and a T25. Those are all going to beat us up if we go to the heavy brawling area and try to play punchy fates. So the reason I'm mentioning all that is with a tank like this, you've really got to assess the match and your situation and know that you've got enough flexibility to kind of be just about anything that the team requires. And then you're going to have to use some imagination from there on when to do what you need to do. All right. This position, just really quickly before we see the rest of this, you can see that the Jackson has come across to light all of the guys sitting here like cockroaches scurrying from the light. And if he had any snipers down there, that'd be really great, but he doesn't. So a little bit premature on his part. His guys haven't pushed across, and they are being faced by a large clump of green helpers. Now, I don't know, Jeb, if this M44 is a fan of yours or an enemy or what the case is, but he does seem to follow you around a bit. We're trying to get away, and then we get stunned by our friend. Gladiator 339. That's not the last time he takes a pot shot at you. I am kind of stunned that you were able to come around this and not eat a shot. The M44, I think, lead fire you a bit, so maybe you were dark when you came around the corner. And then this move, sometimes I see people do stuff and I just scratch my head. Never in a million years would I have just driven down this road. I'd have expected at least 3 tanks to be shooting me by now. But no. And the Cheeto, how did he not spot you? Don't know. Tier 6 tank. Maybe he just has a really bad crew. Oh my gosh, now there's a Hellcat right there. He doesn't even see you. I don't know. I don't know. We're going to line up on the last known position of the Cheeto and take a shot. I think you actually hit him because I don't see it hit the ground. And nope, maybe he was on the move already. So we've already sort of swung into a medium role here, right? We're pushing a bit. We have a turret. It makes it easier to get shots. You don't have to switch the whole casemate around. The negative, though, and generally this is true of all turreted TDs in this game, the turrets move extremely slowly. It's one of the balancing factors, especially for the ones that have the big guns. on it. I don't really know why this one would need its turret to move so slowly. It's only a 240 Alpha gun. And this T71 seems to be a fan of yours. There's your M44 buddy again. He takes some shots. He's got all kinds of dudes to shoot at. You come around this corner, and he is immediately looking at you. He just sat there. He sat there eating shots, waiting for you to come around the corner. I don't know. And now we're going to push in. Again, I sort of expected you to disintegrate, but the T25/2 and the G-SOR are both lit. I don't see the RHM lit, although he may be underneath some of those things. I would have kind of expected the RHM to be sitting in this corner and nuke you, but not so much. We got a kill. We're at 823 damage, and now we're doing essentially what you can do with the turreted kind of tank, TDs, American turreted TDs, turning it again into more of a medium. Right, we're not a super zippy medium, but we're going to come in here, find the arty, and take this guy out, or at least help take this guy out. We're up to 1,051. Very nice. And we're pushing. Now, it's becoming a romple stomp at this point. This is just a face roll, and nearly anybody at this point in the battle should be able to start moving forward and grabbing hit points. Doesn't really matter what tank you're in. But up to this point, you went up there, you saw the opportunity, you had a flexible enough tank in the T25/2 to make that happen. That's what I found when I played this tank, that essentially you were looking to be kind of opportunistic, and you had enough flexibility. There's the RHMB, actually, he was sitting over there in the middle. You have enough flexibility, and you've got the turret to be good enough at points to get some damage in with this tank. Now, it is mid to slightly below in terms of overall capability. I think we're okay. Gonna find the G-SOR. The G-SOR has surprisingly good armor. It looks like it has almost none, but with the angles, it will get the occasional bounce. But we're going to come around here. Don't even really have to bother going with the APCR. Looking for a shot, and we shut down the 1008. And now it's just the old flank, come around the corner. One of the problems, though, that you do have to watch out for with this tank is that its hit point pool is relatively small. So when you're coming in here and doing late trades, things like a Skoda can all of a sudden he's shaved us down to 335. There's plenty of tanks on the board still that can nuke us with one shot at 335. So you might think, well, what can a Skoda T25 do? Very small alpha. It does have a 3-shot autoloader. But with the earlier shot, all of a sudden we're basically down to a 1-shot. So that is something you do have to take a bit of care. Come around the corner and just keep pushing. All right, so again, another good example of the difference between this tank with a turret and a casemate. Casemate will have to come around here and then square up and get it shot, whereas we can just set our hole and we can move the turret and take nice shots right here. I like this switch to the side of the turret. That was nicely done. I think you probably bounce off the side of the hole based on that angle. Unfortunately, he brings his turret around. You sneak a shot in, but it doesn't get him. We're up to all of a sudden 2,223. I mean, you might look at that and go, well, I didn't really do much. I kind of went up there, saw some opportunities, but at the end of the day, you're tier 7 with 4 kills, 2,223 damage, 224 assist, basically using the tank to its limited strengths, you know? So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the T25/2 is a fantastic tier 7 tank. It is a solid, average to maybe slightly below average at times, tier 7 tank. And the answer to the question of how do I play the T25/2 is this. That's essentially, you answered your own question right here. I don't have a whole lot to add. I will say that you took some chances up in the small village in terms of the way you approached. I'm very surprised nobody was there to shred you or saw you do those moves. I think that changes a lot. If there's another tank or somebody who actually gets vision on you, you probably eat a bunch of shots early and you don't have the hit points to give up. In terms of this tank with only sitting there at 850 at tier 7, but that's not where they were, and you got away with it right there. And then you were able to follow up as they collapse, come around, get the flanking shots, and come up with a nice little solid game. So there you go. Let me know what you think, guys, down in the comments. What could he have done better, different? What do you think about the T25/2? -2, not /2, not -2. That's all I've got for today. We will see ya.